Hey guys, I am excited this morning. Actually, I should say good morning, everyone. This morning we're doing one of these How I Shot It live chats with Mr. Dave Shay. Dave, thanks so much for joining us, man.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me along.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. We even got, we already got comments coming in. We got JD Fitzgerald. What's up, Big Dave?
Hey.
And of course, we have your friend. I know this is going to be crazy today. Chad Winston's already saying I see his smug face. So
yeah, I probably should have waited till after I went to humiliate him and bother him a little bit. So I'm probably going to pay pretty hard for that.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Chad and Dave happen to be good friends. They share a doc. Well, I think it's Dave's doc, right?
It is. This should have settled.
Yeah, if you get a chance, you have to check out Chad's How I Shot It interview, and you can see their banter as they go back and forth about this doc that they both shoot on. So,
Chad's awesome. Definitely check out his work. He's a really strong.
He really is. We got people joining us. Doug is saying I finally get to watch this live. So thanks so much, Doug, for joining us this morning. Doug's fan too. It looks like we got Irving is giving us a peace sign, and Derek is saying top of morning to you both, and of course Chad's saying it's my doc. So.
Oh, somebody had to be wrong. So.
That's awesome. So, guys, we are excited for you to join us this morning. We typically try to do these How I Shot It. I'm trying to make them as small and quickly and digestible as possible for all you guys. So we typically try to make them 20 to 30 minutes. You're welcome to watch it live and actually engage with us and ask questions for Dave or myself. Or you can watch these on YouTube. We always repost them there. So if you would like to go back and see some of these old interviews, you can watch these on YouTube. We have probably, 25 or 30 of them up there. And what they are is these How I Shot It. We bring incredible photographers like Dave on board to talk about these. No, you are, Dave. You really are. To talk about some photos and tell us how he shot these photos. Basically telling us a little bit about the creative mindset behind them and what kind of modifiers he used and that kind of stuff. So if you're watching us live, be sure to engage and ask those questions and tell us where you're from and all that kind of good stuff, and give us a like on the video, all that. And if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to join the MagMod community where you can actually see these live each and every week. So with that, we're going to jump right into this. You ready for this, Dave?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, we already got a request, actually. JD Fitzgerald is saying, I think Dave should use the elliptical machine while he explains your photos.
Yeah, that would not last long. I can guarantee MagMod, nobody in the community wants to see that. That's that's for sure.
That's awesome. I love it, Dave. You already actually are sharing your screen. I say let's just go for this.
All right. So yeah, this is one of the shots that's kind of was the first origin of MagMod for me.
Really, this was one of the. So this is actually this was one of the award winners that we had, was it not?
Yeah, so this was one of the ones where the MagMod system finally clicked in terms of what I could actually do with it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, my entire workflow is designed to be quick, and I don't want my clients to ever be waiting on me or anything like that. And this bride, and I've got a behind the scenes shot of this too, but when we were showing up, the venue actually had a styled shoot going on that wasn't involving me outside of their venue. So when we got there, unbeknownst to this bride, we showed up and we had to compete with this other photographer's space, so I couldn't use the front of the venue or anything, and it was really upsetting her. And so we were finding out she's like, well, we can't go out here, and so this was a big deal to me to be able to be all right, we're gonna play with whatever we've got, and we're just gonna make this happen. And so this was one of those things where the MagMod system, I had finally kind of collected all the stuff. I got the gels, I got the sphere and everything like that. And I was like, I'm going to make this bride's bridal session just as amazing as possible, even though we were stuck. And you'll see just in one of the worst positions we could be.
Let's actually, before you even describe how you shot this, let's show everyone the behind the scenes, because it is pretty incredible. There we go.
Yeah. So this is what I walked into. The ladders and everything. This is one of many ladders that were there.
Yeah.
And it was just a ton of stuff all over here. We weren't allowed outside the venue because they were shooting there. And she was getting real upset until I showed her some of the stuff off the back of the camera of this. And then she was like, oh my gosh, I don't see that. How do you see that? And it just became such a trusting point with her. This was a bridal session, so this was before her wedding. And so on her wedding day, anything I recommended at all, she's like, "Oh, you did a great job at my bridals. You do whatever you want." Like, just constant trust, and it was so huge.
Yeah.
Specifically, just being able to come in and be like, "I have nothing to work with right now. I'm going to make this as awesome as possible for her."
That's so awesome, Dave. I think before you even go back to the image, I want to point out to people, look at the fireplace. I mean, there was no fire going, right?
No.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, let's go back to the image again. And you got this glowing, what looks like a fire, and you got this beautiful light. Unfortunately, you got rid of the ladder. I mean, I really liked the ladder in the shot, but you got rid of it.
The green really would have gone well with the orange. I mean, it was a tough artistic call.
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about how you created this shot then.
Yeah, so this was a layer by layer thing. I mean, I was still adjusting to the MagMod system and using multiple lights. I mean, in the past, I had kind of just popped one light, and if I got it right, I was like, hey, it's a win. Like, I'm good. But with this one, I was like, all right, I'm going to have to do a little bit here to kind of get that going. And so what I did is I put a sphere with an orange gel in the back in the fireplace. Uh-huh. And so I just threw that in there, and I got that right first. And then I dialed down my ambient to kill out everything else. So I killed out the entire background completely. And then once I felt like I had that sphere right, I just added in, I think it was 2 grids on the left-hand side, over to her right here. Yeah. And just got the positioning in there. I had an assistant. I very rarely will shoot with just a light stand, just because it's so much easier for me to engage with my assistant and just be like, hey, just a little bit up, a little bit down, as opposed to me stopping and interrupting the flow of the shoot. Speed is very important to me, specifically when using off-camera flash, and that's how I wound up with MagMod originally. So yeah.
No, that's awesome. So you had just said for a second, you said dialing down the ambient. For those who maybe are watching this and saying, wow, like, how do I get it so dark like that? What are some of the steps or techniques that you would tell somebody how to essentially subtract light from your scene?
Yeah, so the first thing I'm doing is, in this case particular, I had originally taken the shot with the chandelier that you can see in this picture, and I was trying to include it. The problem is it's off-center, so it was gone when I was done. Yeah. But I exposed for this right here. So, I mean, you can just take your meter, put it on spot meter, drop it right here, and when it's perfectly exposed, that's a pretty good indicator this is going to be good, and everything else will be dark. The other way that I could do it is just dial down until there was just pretty much blackness in the screen, and then just play around with the exposure from there on my flashes. But yeah, I know in this particular one, I was walking in and I was a little nervous about it. So I mean, I'll cheat all the time, and I'll throw my camera in a live view, just do exposure preview. Yeah. Look and go, yeah, no, that's dark. I've still got the light. I've got the balance the way I want it to, and then I'll add flash from there. And so yeah, just easy way to do it. And I know Canon and Nikon both have it, I'm sure, but now everyone has got that. So you can just see the exposure before you take the shot and just go, all right, if I'm setting a scene with flash, sometimes it's nice to see what my scene's going to look like first before I add the light in.
Yeah. I think what's so great about this, Dave, and let's bring that image up one more time. I think what's great about it is people can see that sometimes when you're using flash, it's not so much about where you're just adding light to your scene. It's where you're actually subtracting it. It's how can I look at a scene and say, okay, I don't want light in these areas. I only want it in this certain spot. And then using your camera, you can basically make your exposure very dark and only add that light where you want it. And that's what I think what makes this photograph so amazing is it's not that you're adding light to your scene. You're literally subtracting light, and then you're just keeping light where you wanted it. So.
And this image too is it's about 30 images stitched together. So this is a Bernizer image taken at about 1.4. 1.4 was essential to first off keep this kind of illusion coming in right here. I wanted the reflection strong, but that's why I shot this with an 85. I'm actually backed up against another set of ladders on the ground. Shooting this, but being able to just kind of make some calls there and just shooting the scene. Like I tried with natural light first, and it was bad, and then I went from there. I went and added the flash and go from there. So just exploring the scene and just kind of really shooting through it was what wound up making this image. So the bride was just blown away with, and that's my goal.
That's awesome. Chad is over on Facebook saying that it's really funny because as you're talking about this, he's literally editing a wedding photo in front of that same fireplace so now he says hashtag my fireplace. So it's his dock, his fireplace.
I'll trade him the fireplace for the dock.
That's awesome.
I'm not here for like another year and a half, so he's got some time.
So, and real quick, I just want to mention we got some people actually tuning in from the Himalayas, from Nepal.
Oh. Yeah, that's great.
The Himalayas. We also got Freddie is tuning in from Colombia, desde Colombia. I love it. And we got Aaron Lurie and Matt Gruber. We got all kind, and Arno from the Netherlands is tuning in. Man. So you got people from all over the world watching you right now.
That's great.
Hey, and before we leave this image, we got a question from Stephanie. Stephanie is actually, she's saying, did I hear him correctly? Is that a Brennizer shot?
Yeah, so this is a Brennizer method. This is 30 images stitched together in Lightroom. I kept the flash the same. I let the flash fire every time. I fired a little slow. Just kind of click, 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 all the way around the frame. Handheld, and Lightroom stitched it together. So the whole thing for this is probably 3 or 4 times the size, and then I just cropped it down.
Yeah.
The reason I did that is I wanted an 85 for compression on her and for compression on the reflection.
Love it.
So I had a 24 on me. The 24 wouldn't have given me this reflection. So that's the biggest reason I did that.
Gotcha.
But you could totally shoot this with a 50 and it would look pretty good. I don't own a 50, so it would look great. But I just don't have one. So
very cool. Well, excellent. And Dave, I know when we were just kind of pre-show looking at some of the photos that you have to share, which, by the way, guys, I'm really excited. Today when we're actually talking here with Dave, Dave has a lot of behind-the-scenes photographs, which is sometimes as difficult as, for photographers, we forget to actually record those behind the scenes. And so stay tuned because there's some really cool behind the scenes shots that Dave's going to show us. So Dave, with that, let's actually jump into one of your other photographs. I believe you had another one of Kayla, the bride here.
Yeah.
But on
yes, this was on their engagement session. Yeah. And that would be right here. And so this is my doc. That's my favorite doc. This Chad might contest a little bit. But yeah, this was an interesting situation just showing up to, we shot all the way up until sunset. I wanted to play around a little bit, but then the sun set the wrong way. So I like walked all the way to that one side of the place and then the sun was on the other side and I was like, oh shoot. All right, well we're over here and I've got to make it look like I know what I'm doing. So I talked with a couple a little bit. I had them come out here. And this was just the Mag Snoot. I wanted to be able to get the light on them without catching too much of the dock. As much as I love this doc, I didn't want it featured in the photograph.
Yeah.
So I had my assistant a little bit over camera right and had her aim the snoot from pretty decent ways away to get on here. And then I'm all about photojournalism, and that's usually what I'm going to try to go to. But on an engagement session, it's kind of whatever goes. And their dad was actually here, or her dad was actually here. And he saw a bunch of geese and thought it would be cool if they started taking off. And I was like, I'm not going to disagree. So he went and ticked off the geese, and then they flew into the shot.
That's awesome. I love it.
So, which was kind of cool. So, but yeah, I mean, sometimes things are absolutely as they happen, and sometimes things are just added a little bit extra in. I mean, at this moment, like no one's sitting like this post on this dock anyway, so I didn't really mind adding in the extra bit of the geese here.
Yeah, no, it's production value, right? So.
Yep.
So tell us, for those who are maybe new to using a Mag Snoot, for example, what would be the purpose of using a Mag Snoot? Like, why would you use it in your photographs? Or where would be a scenario where you'd say, okay, I want to use a Mag Snoot?
Yeah, so I mean, this far away from where I was, so there's actually this little like ramp right here. Actually, I don't know if you can. Yeah, so here's the behind the scenes. You can see this ramp right here.
Yeah.
And so in this, where this ramp is coming down, I had to have my assistant all the way over here in front of the white Jeep. Can you see my mouse, by the way, or no?
I can. Yep.
Okay, cool. I'm like, am I pointing at stuff? But yeah, so you right in front of this Jeep. So my assistant was like right here, and then I'm shooting from over here to still get that out.
Gotcha.
And so while I'm shooting like this, I really wanted to make sure that light was super focused. And from that far away, even with 2 or 3 grids, the light wouldn't have been focused enough where the snoot really just hones it in and makes sure that there was no spread anywhere other than I wanted it.
Yeah, you get that tight pin light, right?
Yeah, and specifically right here, it works out great because it's got you can see the circle of the snoot right here. So you're not losing anything on top. Like, I'm losing their feet right here, but that's fine because I didn't want to hit the dock.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it takes some time to aim, too. You have to have an awesome assistant. There's a girl, Elizabeth, who came out with me on their engagement session as well. And their wedding, I believe, or their engagement session, the bridal session, and the wedding. I think she assisted me on all 3. And she was just super awesome about making sure that light just stayed right on them. Which, again, like, this is not, it's doable with a light stand only, but having even just a friend come out and hold light and just be like, yeah, up, down, just like little adjustments so they can see that is huge.
Excellent. And I think you actually answered this question already, but just now you had mentioned it. Aaron was wondering a snoot versus 2 or 3 grids.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, so first, I only had, at this point, I know I only had 2 grids. I don't even think I had a third. Now I've got like a small army of them. But even with focusing it down, the 3 grids is still going to be a pattern like this coming right out of the flash, where the snoot, I mean, I can get a pattern that big. And so that big, straight far, even that far away, is going to spread a little bit. And so I wanted to make sure light was only where I wanted it. And I don't use the snoot a ton, but the shots that I do use it for, like I've got another one coming up later on that I use the snoot for, and I don't think it even would have been possible with anything else. It's right. It's the modifier I need for it.
No, it's true. It's one of those tools where I agree with you. I don't get as much usage from the snoot in my bag, but the times I use it, I'm like, man, I'm so glad I had a snoot on me right now. So that's awesome. Dave, before we share any other images, let's bring your face back. Everyone's saying that we want to see you. No, at least I'm saying that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think chat's saying that.
No, awesome. In fact, before we actually show some of these other images, we got the Mag Beam coming up and this incredible Milky Way one that I want to show you guys. But Dave, tell us real quick, how do we find more information? If somebody wants to go check out your website, your Instagram, that kind of stuff, where do they find that?
Oh, okay. So Instagram, I'm bad with. I post scheduled everything, so you can follow me there. It's at Dave Shay, DAVESHAY. And I do schedule a lot of stuff out there. I've reined myself in. I don't post pictures of food anymore, so I feel like I'm doing great. Recovering for like 6 months now.
Nice.
But my website, you can find me at daveshay.com, or you can find me at myphotographerlovestacos.com, which is also a redirect right to my website. So that's
nice. My photographer loves tacos.
Yes, that is my favorite domain name, and that has got me a ton of business. So it's actually kind of a fun topic for another time. But yeah, it's My Photographer Loves Tacos will go right to my website and hook you up there as well.
That is awesome. Oh my goodness, how funny. I had no idea. I will always remember that. And what a great way of like a bridal party or anyone even just talking about you. They're like, oh yeah, go check out this website. It's My Photographer Loves Tacos.
Yeah, I thought it would be a funny idea. I was on like GoDaddy like super late at night one night. I was like, this would be hilarious, and I just spent like $3 or whatever it was. And that thing has gotten me that URL has booked me over 25 weddings, which is crazy.
That is crazy. That's awesome. Is it just people searching for? Let's see. I'm looking for a wedding photographer that loves tacos.
Yeah, I haven't gotten too many like natural ones like that. I get a ton of people that are like, yeah, I talked to somebody in like a bar and they mentioned that they met this photographer and they had the funniest website and we were getting married, so we should check it out. And
that's
like
awesome.
Third degree of separation. Like I've never heard of these people and I don't even remember the people that referred them. But just something to stand out. It's just something I thought was like, this would be funny, and then it worked out. I was like, oh,
that's hilarious. Charmy, you know Charmy, she's an amazing photographer as well. She says, now I'm hungry.
And Charmy is a photographer that you guys should check out. She just spoke for Nikon. A lot of the reason that I shoot, specifically not so much my flash stuff, but my natural light stuff and the managing of a wedding day, she is one of the people that has kind of catered to my work more than anyone. So like being able, specifically the flow, and that's why I was attracted to MagMod, was it was like, it let me kind of move throughout the day. Yeah. I learned a lot of that from watching her shoot an Indian wedding where she's shooting for like 20-something hours in a matter of a day and a half, and just needing to be in charge of all that stuff. So definitely, she's check out as well.
She is super talented. Leah, she's also saying, love Dave, always doing dope stuff. So you know what's so great about the MagMod community is not only do I get a chance to talk to some incredible photographers like yourself, but then you got these like super talented, amazing people that are actually tuning in and like commenting, and I don't know. It always blows my mind at the amount of talent that's in the community and people that are talking and helping each other out. So we appreciate all you guys. So Dave, let's jump back in. I think we've covered 2 images. We got a few more here, and like I said, you guys, you're in for a treat. Yeah. Dave has some amazing, like, not only images but also behind the scenes, and then also, I believe at the end we're going to finish with a product shot as well, which is really cool. So, awesome. Let's talk about this one.
Yeah, so this one, couple hired me specifically because of my nighttime work. Like, that was something that was super important to people. And that's becoming more and more important to brides in general. I get hired a lot of the time just because of people be like, I didn't see anything at night on anyone else's site. And so they'll actually hire me just for that.
Yeah.
They actually got married in an airport, which was real cool during the day, but at the night, we weren't allowed anywhere outside. So we weren't allowed, like, on the tarmac or anything like that. So this is actually in the parking lot, right next to the restricted gate where I was trying to get to shoot on the other side of. And, like, I'm not, like, one of those anything for the shot type of people. Like, I'm not going to be on the TSA no-fly list because I tried to jump a fence at an airport. And so this one in particular, getting this set, we walked outside. And from here, I set up this grid, this beam behind with a mask on it. Okay. And am I cutting out?
I can hear you now.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that.
No problem.
So when I walked outside right here, there was a brick wall, and that's what worked. And this couple was super, like, camera aware all day long, and so I wanted to do something that kind of fit them a little bit more than my work, which is a lot of the time is just kind of pulled away and not so kind of up close. Yeah. And so these guys, I walked outside, saw this wall, and was like, all right, this is what we've got to work with, and kind of went from there. And so the confidence of having MagMod in the past kind of gave me a lot of this stuff a little bit easier.
No, that's awesome. So for those who aren't aware, Dave, you created those slits of light.
Yeah, and you can see this is what the scene looked like beforehand. My iPhone clearly did not handle this that well. But this over here, you've got, and they're fired from the same spot. So this right here is my key light, which is just a gridded flash, and then right below it is the mag beam with the mag mask on it, just the one with the diagonals. I've actually got to buy more mag masks because I'm getting hooked on these things.
Yeah, nice. I love it. You know what's funny about this shot, Dave, is honestly, if you brought a client over here, you're like, hey, it's your wedding day, I'm going to shoot you in front of this very standard brick wall with no lighting or anything exciting. Like, I mean, it's like you basically put somebody there, and then like you said, you take the picture and you show it to them, and then all of a sudden you become this magician that they just completely trust. Yes. And, and now you can do whatever you want, and they're going to, you got them in your hands basically, where they're just going to completely trust and know that you're creating art for them,
Yeah, and this one too, like I went out here a few minutes ahead of time, so I told I had my second shooter still shooting inside, and then I came out here and I set up the lights and whatnot. I just took a few test shots just to know, like, all right, yeah, my exposure should be just about good. Yeah. So by the time they came out of the reception, we took 3 to 10 frames at most, and then popped them back inside. So it was super cool because I took one, and like when I led them over, they definitely had that like, where are you taking us, man? Like, what are we doing here? And then from there, I showed them the back of the camera, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, like this is crazy!" And
that's awesome.
I mean, it's honestly, it's just taking it step by step. I mean, just shooting again, dialing down the ambient so there wasn't anything there, adding in the beam so I can see my background, and then adding in my key light. It's not. It seems like scary to use multiple lights at first, but I mean, it's not. It's not scary as soon as you do it a few times.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So since you have the behind the scenes shot up here, let's talk about it one more time. So you have the mag beam with I believe these are just a standard mask, the diagonal slits. That's down there at the bottom, and then up on top. Oh,
and a yellow gel in there. There's a yellow gel in there as well.
Yellow gel.
Or amber, maybe.
Okay.
I own all of the gels because I can't make decisions.
Yeah.
And I don't know which ones came in which pack, so I just have gels.
No, I get you. And then what is the light on top? What do you have a modifier on that light as well?
Yeah, so that's just a grid. Single grid. I keep a grid on every one of my flashes almost all day long. The MagGrid, anytime I'm using light for ceremony, reception, anything, and I very rarely use it during ceremony, but if I do, it's always going to be gridded so that it's not blasting everything. It's just awesome. What I want.
Awesome. So let's bring that photograph up one more time here. And for those who don't know, the reason Dave would use a grid is just to keep that light focused, basically, so it's not spilling everywhere.
Which specifically makes a big deal with the beam too.
Yeah, no, that's So you don't have those two lights mixing. Ellen was wondering, was there enough ambient light to focus on them?
In this case, I had this like nasty light over my shoulder of like a spotlight, like, hey, you're not supposed to be back here type of deal, right for the other side of that fence. Gotcha. But honestly, even if there's not, I have a video light that I just pop up, a little dinky thing I got off Amazon. Yeah. Super easy to focus, but usually I don't have too many issues. Star stuff I have issues focusing with, and that's where I'll use those video lights.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And then Chad says he loves that shot, and he says, I'll let you have that wall, I guess.
The gross wall by RDU has officially been claimed. I'm going to go back and write my name on it.
Yeah. So, awesome. Dave, let's, was there anything else you want to add to that shot there?
No, super straightforward.
It's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. Let's jump in. You have that that Milky Way one shot.
Yeah, let me see if I can share that. Drop this in.
I love this. There's so much good stuff you're sharing. I love it.
So yeah, so this is one of my like favorite pictures. This one is actually getting printed on metal like right now. It's going to be in my living room because I'm super excited about it. Because I always take these awesome shots for other people and I never take good ones for myself. And so this is actually my wife and I. We took this. This is taken with the D750, the wireless app. I am at the exact edge of the range on that thing, so it took me like going over my shoulder and trying to get it to trigger. But yeah, and this one has 2 lights in here. So it has a MagSphere in front, just aimed right towards our faces, which was blinding because it was pitch black out here. It was like my wife was going to kill me. And then I had one grid in the back right. It was, I think, double gridded shooting towards us. And that was real far away because this was taken with a 24. And I wanted to get it out of the shot. Yeah. And so this was before I had the beam because I would have used the beam for this. And then I wouldn't have had to worry about my light stand being in my shot.
Nice. So, okay, so tell us then, so you're shooting 24. Do you remember kind of roughly what your settings were to
Yeah, so I know I'm at like F2 because even though I'm shooting at night, I don't want to go to 1.4 because I'll miss stuff. It's just like something will be out of focus. And I wanted a little bit of the Milky Way because even at 24, you're still going to have to choose some focal distance right here, what's going to be real sharp. So I go up to F2, and then this was taken at 13 seconds and probably around 12 to 1600 ISO on the D750. That's nothing. And so, so this is a 13-second exposure. We had to be kind of still-ish, but I mean, it was fairly easy. It's not like it's not like a wedding day where you're trying to take this nighttime shot and then the groom has had like 1,000 gin and tonics and you're like, all right, stand still. And he's like rocking him back and forth. So we're just hanging out on a dock. Dock.
That's awesome. And tell us one more time, you had a MagSphere that you and your wife were holding in your lap. And
so I actually put my light stand in the water here. So my light stand is in the water, facing me. I buy cheaper flashes. I was buying like all name brand stuff, and then I kept on breaking them. Yeah. So so at this point I was using Shanny flashes. Now I'm using the Godox ones, which are like $100 and something a pop. Yeah. Whereas I was used to like Nikon ones that cost me like $600-700. So I was like always afraid to break those. But these I'll throw in the water, and like on a light stand and be like, it should be fine. Yeah. So I end up replacing like 3 a year, but
you know what though? I agree with you. I've been using some Godox flashes and I absolutely love them. And you're right. If something falls and breaks, it's not nearly as traumatizing as breaking something at $600. So.
And it's not to say like Godox flashes aren't expensive because like I remember when I first started out, I thought $200 for anything was expensive. Yeah. And now it's but like it's still like when I've got the frame of reference, like $600 versus $2.
Yeah, a third the price.
If I can get something like this, which means a lot to my wife and I, that her family went on vacation here every year. And so she would always be able to see this. And so like this for me is kind of like a little gift to her because now she brought me to her vacation spot with her family. So she's including me in our marriage in like this whole backstory and everything like that. Love it. So like I wanted to like honor that with something of mine. And so like for me, a $200 flash is nothing compared to this.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, Dave. So Dave, tell us then, so you had the flash in the stand, in the water, and then you had behind, what was lighting you guys from the back again?
Yeah, so I had one flash with a grid, maybe 2 grids over on the right-hand side. Okay. And you'll see some ambient light kicking up right here. There's some ambient on this side, and then there's some flash kicking up here from the sphere. Yep. Which I'm totally fine.
Yeah, I actually think it adds to the photograph. Basically, to me, those trees actually frame you guys. So I love it. That's amazing. How did you know where to aim your camera? I mean, obviously you picked the dock, but did you know that the Milky Way galaxy was going to be there in the sky at that time?
Yeah, so I mean, I went out there a few nights before and kind of just explored, and I noticed it was shifting a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I knew it was going to be like somewhere over here. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I knew next to nothing. It was a lot of the times when I was like going like this, it was like, it's perfect. That's right where I want it. I mean, like, sure, it could be like right above us in this perfect line, but
that's awesome.
Looks great.
I know there's apps and things out there as well that people can get to actually show them, where the stars or where the different constellations and so forth are. But absolutely incredible. I love this one. Thanks so much for sharing. Chad hasn't said anything yet, but I imagine he'll probably let you have the Galaxy as well. So be good.
He's a good sharer sometimes.
No, awesome. So
Yeah.
Dave, you've shared some incredible shots. I believe we have one more. This one's actually a little different than what we've had in the past. This is a product photography. So I'm going to let you share that one. And what's cool about this, guys, is we have another behind the scenes as well. So.
Yeah, and so that's this guy right here. This is a make-your-own whiskey kit that a local distillery offers. And so I really just wanted to kind of take something awesome, and I know the distillery guys is over there as well. And so then on top of that, I also know that my wife had gotten me one of these as an anniversary present. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And so I wanted to do something cool to kind of just show it off. And again, like this was me like really diving in and being like, all right, what can I do with this MagMod stuff now? Because like when you start to see what you can create in like the most garbage of places, like this is like my dining room table. It blows people away in terms of like, oh my gosh, you can do this. And it blows myself away. Like I'll be like in this like back room by like the bathrooms and I can take something awesome there. It's like, whoa, this is crazy.
Yeah. You know what? In fact, since you're talking about that, let's show everyone the behind the scenes so they can all be blown away just like I was. Nice.
Yeah, so this is my behind the scenes, and you'll notice like this is why I have 1,000 grids. This is a grid holding up my MagSphere right here.
Nice.
So like I just use them as like little stacking Legos.
Yeah.
As well as everything else, and then I also lose like at least 3 per year, so I always have to keep buying them. But yeah, so this is the setup for this. This is I knew my table was kind of shiny. I figured I'd see what I could do with light and kind of this spot right here. Obviously, I took the stuff out of the box before shooting it, but I didn't take my kid's placemat off because we have to tape that there. Otherwise, there is no controlling my child and how she eats.
That's funny.
So this is the setup right here, and this is again one of those where I use the snoot specifically because I was shooting a circle. It was nice to be able to just have that kind of bit of light right there without having it. And if I go back, you can see the light just catch right here, and it doesn't hit too much of this stuff.
Yeah. No, this is incredible. So tell us, so you're using a snoot in front, and then behind, by the way, Arno from Netherlands is saying, wow, this image is awesome. He loves it.
Thank you.
But behind, you're obviously using it looked like the sphere being held up by a grid.
Being held up by a grid. So there's a lot of MagMod happening in this photo.
No, I love it. And then you have a gel in that sphere as well?
Yeah, that's the orange gel. Just straight orange right in there. I don't know which kit that's a part of, but
yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I bought all the gels and now I just use them intermittently.
Yeah.
But yeah, just an orange gel right here to just pop that back out.
Was there any other light hitting the front of your bottles there?
No, just this flash. I mean, like you can tell again, like my kitchen light is on. My wife was probably making fun of me in the other room for taking pictures on our dining room table. Like, what are you doing? So I mean, I just cleared off the table, dropped this right here, and then just the front light with just the snoot.
That's awesome. Let's see that image one more time, Dave.
Yeah.
Incredible. And I think what's important to note about this, guys, is that when you're using the snoot here, you're using it in a way that you're able to light that stuff up, and you're not the snoot light is staying contained so it doesn't spoil that light in the background. You know, and so that way your gel is very, because I think that's one of the questions that actually comes up a lot is people will say, you know, I can't get colors out of my gels, and sometimes they're not getting the colors because you have another flash that's, you know, touching your subject, and it's actually basically spoiling that gel, that color behind it. It's feeling into it. And so using snoots or grids and things like that, you're able to control it. So love this, dude. Incredible shot.
Yeah, and the other thing, like the big trick here that took me forever to learn is if I shot this with a 24, it would look like garbage because I'd see that spill over here.
Yeah.
So like if I'm shooting like an 18 to 55 or like something wider and I'm trying to do that same shot, it's going to show too much outside. This is I shot with my 85, so I just have what I'm looking for.
That's a good point.
So it eliminates a lot of that too. So it makes this shot a lot easier to take, and getting low helps too, because if I get too high, then I'll see like some white flash on the top of right here that I'm not really looking for.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point. In other words, being able to use those longer lenses, you can kind of compress your scene and really only show exactly what you want to show, and let the other light spill outside the scene. Great point. Yeah. Love it.
Cool.
Dave, let's bring you back real quick, and we'll wrap this thing up. So, Yeah, I love how not only did you share some incredible shots, but you also had these like fantastic behind the scenes, so that other people can look at this and say, "Hey, I can do that." Like, I have a kitchen table. I can try that.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
And Dave, the other thing I think is great is to point out is that you took these situations and you were practicing, you were having fun. I mean, was that a contract job to shoot the topo?
No, I wound up making some, they wound up shooting me a gift card for this, and I've had that a few times where I'll just take this like awesome product shot of something and I'll just be like, hey, I was just trying to learn something here, and I'll send it over to them and they'll send me like a gift card or something back. So I think Jack Daniels even did that. I tried it on another whiskey bottle, which is painting me like an alcoholic. I'm not. But like, I just like anything I have around the house. So like sometimes I practiced on tacos too.
That's awesome. You're gonna have to get a website that says "My photographer loves moonshine."
Loves whiskey. That's probably not a bad idea. Somebody else already bought it while I'm hanging out here.
That's funny. Hey, Aaron just wants to let you know that is now his table, by the way.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm glad that people are staking claim on everything I've touched.
Oh, goodness. Hey, so thank you so much, Dave. Again, your stuff is incredible. I just want to ask you, do you have like a favorite MagMod modifier that is kind of your go-to? You mentioned the grids a few times. Is that?
Yeah, so the grids are always on, but the beam is it for me. Like now when I'm throwing, like when we went out to Vegas for WPPI and we went out to the Grand Canyon right afterwards, I just grabbed the beam and an 8200. And that was it. That's all I brought, a trigger, and that was it. I mean, it's not. I can grab the beam, but the nice thing is the grid or I can grab a grid, but the beam gives me the flexibility to have that extra power control if I need it. And I mean, the spread of it is different, so don't think of it as just it's going to have the same look as a gridded flash. Yeah. But if you know what the spread is going to look like, where it's a little hotter here and a little softer, you can do a ton of stuff with it. So a ton of my stuff is with the beam right now. But like for dance floor and everything, I've always got grids on. At least two of my flashes, where the rest of them have the beam on it.
That's awesome. Hey, thank you so much for sharing that. I think you're the first one to talk about the beam in that way. I know Chad, actually. Speaking of Chad.
Yeah,
he loves.
He does awesome stuff with it, specifically like the scenery stuff that he does.
Yeah,
it's really cool to see how he uses it there.
That's awesome, Dave. We super appreciate you joining us. And guys, if you have any questions for Dave, if you wouldn't mind, maybe in the next 48 hours, 72 hours, just kind of keep an eye on that the thread in the MagMod community. And maybe you can, I think there might be a question or two that we missed as we were going, but. If you guys have any questions for Dave as you're watching this over the next few days, feel free to post those questions in the comments, and then either myself or Dave will be in there. We can answer those for you. So
and I'm not shooting this weekend, so feel free to tag me and stuff. I'm an open book. The only reason I've gotten to learn anything that I've learned is because of people like Trevor, Charmy, even Chad sometimes being real open with what they've learned. And so, I mean, just if there's any questions that I can answer, please let me know. I'm seriously open to anything I can help with.
That's awesome. I think Derek sums it up. He says, "Great shots and thanks for the behind the scenes looks." I totally agree. And you did an awesome job. Even Chad said that. Chad even said you did an awesome job. So
thank you,
Dave. We super appreciate it. And guys, again, you can find Dave and all these other amazing photographers in the MagMod community, and be sure to join us live for these highlight shots every single week. So thank you, Dave.